West Ham will be looking to bounce back against Leeds United in the Premier League this weekend after our winning run was ended by Manchester United last weekend. After winning 3 games in a row in the league before meeting Manchester United last weekend, we were just the better side, maybe, up to the halfway point, Matt? But then, of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men ran out 3-1 winners after the second half comeback. But then we've got Leeds United, and this is our preview tonight. And this will be the first league match between Leeds and West Ham since the 2011-12 championship campaign, when both games ended in draws. West Ham are winless in our last 9 meetings with Leeds in all competitions. And it's I'll be bringing up the kind of recent history between the two clubs soon, Matt, but it doesn't look great when you look at the scores between them. But listen, talk to me. Leeds United, what's your thoughts?
No, first of all, it doesn't look good, does it? The recent history is abysmal. Also, I know the fact that I think not just Leeds, I think our Friday night record's absolutely awful as well. I think we've lost like the last 4 Friday night games we've played, so doesn't bode well. Leeds have done well, to be fair. I think, everyone was a bit worried how they'd play. I thought maybe they might be a bit like Leeds when they came up. Just really Leeds. I think they might have done a bit of a Norwich.
What, just like themselves then?
No, I thought they might have done a bit of a Norwich when they came up. But I think, to be fair, I think they've coped really well. I think, look, we all know Bielsa's brilliant manager. I mean, don't forget, we was linked with him. Like, I think he was in front of Bilic when we got Bilic in. But I think he was managing Marseille at the time. He's a fantastic manager. He's up for the World Manager of the Year award he's up for? He was nominated alongside Klopp and the Dortmund manager and someone else. So, coming from a championship team, that's just really unheard of. It was not like he's won the Premier League last year. He won the championship. But, and they've been trying for years to get back up. And he's just come in and he's got a way of playing. He makes them work, gets the best out of the players. You can see what they've done. They score goals as well. They're attractive to watch. They'll give it a go. People want to see in the Premier League. People want to be entertained. They want to see goals, and you get that with Leeds.
Yep, of course you do. Well, listen, you're bigging them up a lot. You're a West Ham fan, Matt. So without further ado, as we've been doing every single week during our previous shows, we bring on an opposition fan. And today, we'd like to welcome Oscar from All Leeds TV. Oscar, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, lads. Hope you're doing well as well. I think Matt's more confident than me at the minute, to be honest.
I think we need to chuck you out, Matt, just now. Oscar, do you want to let the fans know, obviously about the channel, etc., and then we'll get started and having a quick chat about Leeds?
Yeah, we're a channel called All Leeds TV. Basically, a fan channel. We do match reviews, match previews, watch alongs, pretty much everything during the week. We try and get a video out every day. We're slowly building the channel, and it's been a brilliant 2 years. And you can catch us on All Leeds TV on YouTube and on socials. Yeah, that's who we are anyway. All Leeds TV.
Yeah, brilliant. No, thanks very much, Oscar, for coming on. Well, listen, let's talk about Leeds. Let's talk about Bielsa and your first season back in the Premier League. How are you finding it? And what's the kind of feeling amongst the fans, etc.?
I think it's been pretty much as expected. I think obviously naturally we've had a few more disappointments than we did in the Championship. It's been a bit more inconsistent, but I think in the Premier League, we go into any game this season where it's tough. Every single game, you look at it every single week and think, you know what, anyone can beat us on that day. If we're nowhere near, if we're only 90% at it, we'll get beaten. Against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago, Crystal Palace beat us 4-1, and I know there's not a massive difference between the two clubs in terms of league position, but we weren't even that bad on the day, but we just got absolutely destroyed because we weren't quite 100% on it. And if you're not 100% on it, you get hammered in this league. That's as simple as that. And even sometimes when you play really well, against Arsenal, weeks ago, we were absolutely superb. Our last game at home, we were superb in the game, but we just couldn't score. And you just got to be perfect to win games at this level. And that's the difference between this and the Championship. I'm sure as well, you get away with the odd bad performance and still win the game because you were almost a big fish in a small pond, but in this league, you just got to be on it every single game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've started off the season well, but recently have slipped to 14th place. And, is that just the settling in period into the Premier League? Do you put that down to that? Or are there any kind of big concerns? I mean, we'll talk about players in a minute and your current kind of setup.
I think it's just settling into the league. Obviously, we're still only 11 games in, so it's still very tight. If we win this game, I think we can go up to 7th or 8th. If we lose it, we could actually end up 16th or 17th. So naturally, at this stage of the season, it's still really tight. And I don't think, I think it'll take a couple of more games, 4 or 5 games, probably just after Christmas, until you really start to see where we're kind of going to finish. But, I think we kind of expected this. I think obviously if we were getting a bit carried away after the first couple of games, when we've outplayed Man City, we've really played well against Liverpool, much like yourselves, to be fair, against Man City and Liverpool. And, I just think it's going to be one of those seasons for us where we're going to have 2 or 3 good results, 2 or 3 bad results. And it's just going to be up and down, up and down. I think it's like that for pretty much 90% of the newly promoted club. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the injuries at the minute. I think that has had an impact too in terms of results. We've lost key players at key times, and we've never quite had our strongest 11 on the pitch all at the same time since probably the first game of the season, to be honest, away at Liverpool. I genuinely say it's been that long since we've had our strongest 11 out on the pitch.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're talking there about players that will be missing, and how much of an impact or disappointment is it that the players now are missing, as you can see on the image there, Llorente and Koch. So what of an impact is that really for Leeds?
Certainly defensively, obviously, I think the big strength for West Ham at the minute, obviously typical kind of David Moyes team in terms of a lot of aerial power, good crosses of the ball. That is our really, really sore subject for us at the minute in terms of crosses into the box. We just played Chelsea. Chelsea had 8 set pieces against us, 7 of those set pieces found the Chelsea head. So that shows our problem. And I think the only header we did win in the box was our striker. So that kind of sums up our problems aerially. I think Robin Koch, although not perfect in the air, is probably our strongest defender in that respect. So that's a massive, massive blow for us. I think Llorente as well, quite aggressive in the air too. Massive blow having him missing too. So really, both our centre backs are about just over 6 foot tall. And I know 6 foot's still quite tall, but not really the big power rousers you tend to get in the Premier League these days instead of centre backs. You certainly look at Suchek, it's 2 goals already with his head. Antonio, Haller, whoever starts up top, we've got a big problem, mate. We've got a big problem in terms of crossing into the box. And I do feel that West Ham are going to score as a result of that, to be honest. And it's not necessarily a tactical thing. It's just the makeup of our squad at the minute in terms of injuries too.
Yeah, of course, mate. And then obviously we're looking at a player coming in for those. Is it Luke Ayling as well? I mean, what's your thoughts on him? And has he got the ability to kind of step into that role? And
yeah, kind of... I love Luke Ayling. Luke Ayling is one of my favourite players. I mean, he's been with this club for 4 years now. And when he first arrived at the football club, we were at the bottom of the Championship. And to be fair, he's been a massive part of this journey. You see him there, captain's armband. He's not actually the captain, but Liam Cooper's the captain. But Luke Ayling is a proper leader as well. And to be fair, I think I still look at our back four, and despite Luke Ayling being out of position, at right centre half, I still think he's the strongest point in the back four, even though he's out of position. I love every single player we've got. I just think Luke Ayling's a step up in class. We saw him go to Villa away the last time he played as a centre back, up against Ollie Watkins, up against Jack Grealish, and he had a superb game. He put one ball off the line. He won everything against Ollie Watkins. He was superb, to be fair. And look, one game doesn't tell you everything. In that particular game against Villa, probably our best performance of the season, he really did well. But I think in this game, where there's a lot of aerial height, a lot of physicality in terms of the way the West Ham attack, obviously Jared Bowen, someone we know a lot about from the Championship. He has a great goal scoring record against us. I remember him going to Ellen Road, I think 2 years ago, almost to the day, to be fair. Hull City, Caneswell Road, and it was one of the best individual performances I've seen in recent times, to be fair. He was absolutely superb.
I think he's got two goals in his 3 league games against Leeds at Ellen Road.
And that's the thing. And to be fair, even in the games he hasn't scored, he's been a massive threat. We've had to really adjust to him. And obviously, it's not just Jared Bowen in this West Ham team. Obviously, with Ben Rama, another player we know a lot about. I think Ben Rama's going to have a top record against us too. For me, probably the best player in the Championship last season, and that's been me being non-biased. I think despite Brentford not going up, I think he was absolutely outstanding in terms of to watch him play. He's just unbelievable talent. As is Fornals, whoever plays in that West Ham front three is going to cause this Leeds defence problems potentially on the day, unless we are especially at it. For me.
Well, Matt, listen, talk to me about. I think there's some back noise.
Yeah, 1 second.
Hold on. How do we?
There you go. You're right. There we go.
Yeah, Patrick Bamford. banging in the goals left, right, and centre. Talk to me about him, Matt, and you know, the game tomorrow and how he can potentially get at West Ham's defence.
Well, it's a strange one because I mean he's been around a while, hasn't he? He started at Chelsea. I think he had a spell at Swansea, but he's been on fire this year. Which I've not really ever associated him with being an out-and-out goal scorer, but a bit like Calvert-Lewin, he's just come on leaps and bounds this year, and he's just at the end of the day, a goal scorer puts the ball in the back of the net. He's been doing it, and I mean he still had the one that was offside, which was worse than our one at Villa, where he was the millimetre thread of his shirt sleeve was offside or something. He's scoring a lot of goals. They are struggling with injuries, Leeds, but they play good attacking football. And one thing we don't like doing is, running in behind and dealing with teams that press high and have a high tempo game. We don't like it.
So, Oscar, what is it then about Bielsa and bringing? Does he bring the best out in players that don't have, the history of being the top player in their life? If you think about Bamford in particular, I mean, he's got 8 goals in the Premier League this year. I mean, that's a huge amount of goals to come back from,
Yeah, I mean, obviously already, Bamford's well on course for kind of 20 goals already, and whether it's almost like I'm going to go back in the day here, I remember people like Nietzsche, players like that, even Benteke, kind of had that one season where they're absolutely on fire. But to be fair, and even though Paddy was quite average in front of goal last season in terms of taking the chances, his performance levels were superb. I think in every single game, he was always a 7, 8 out of 10 in terms of his all-round performance, in terms of linking up play, getting, backing in on centre-backs, just being that main outlet of the team, someone who the team could use as a real focal point of the attack. And every single game he gave us that. Even though goals-wise, a lot was made last season that he probably should have got more than he did. He got 16, which is still decent. Don't get me wrong, still decent. And I've always rated Paddy, to be fair. But I think this season, I think just something's clicked this season in terms of taking the chances, in terms of the composure in front of goal. Whether it's no fans, to be fair, you've got to take that into respect. We think of any striker at this level, in terms of no fans. But yeah, I think Paddy Bamford's a massive threat. But I think in terms of Bielsa specifically, he always gives. If he likes a player, you can bet anyone you want. He will keep them in the team, even if the performance levels are a little bit poor. There's other people off the bench who are doing a better job. He'll stick with them. Even Luke Ayling, we spoke about before, he went through a bad patch of form as well. But he'll stick with the players, and he almost allows them to play themselves back into form. You don't normally see that with other managers. Other managers, the big responsibility is the results, but ultimately, Bielsa's, obviously the results are a big thing as well. But in terms of the whole performances, everyone knows each other's game. Everyone knows each other's movement. You always see it. Everything about Leeds at the minute just seems so rehearsed, and it's fantastic to watch. In terms of we play the ball out the back, we always dominate possession, we dominate games, we take control of games. Obviously Mateusz Klich, another one I've not mentioned yet. I think he's been our best player of the season so far. To be fair, I'd even say outside the top 6, he's been one of the best midfielders in the league. Outside the top 6, in terms of how well he's adapted to the league. And I just think everyone gets it. There's not one player on that pitch for me who I'm looking at and thinking they shouldn't be in the team, and that's genuine.
And you've kind of got this battle just now between the Leeds and the West Ham fans talking about who's the better midfielder. Is it Phillips? Is it Rice? Talk to me about Phillips then. Let the West Ham fans know about how important he is.
Look, and it's a big talking point. Obviously, Rice and Phillips. I think obviously the England thing has massively exacerbated it, really. But Declan Rice is the player alike. But I think Calvin Phillips, in terms of his performances, obviously at the start of the season, his actual games probably better for England. In terms of the first couple of games for Leeds, he got an injury, and ever since he's come back, he's just gone back to those championship levels. In terms of he's been absolutely superb. I mean, he's looked like the big fish in the small pond. I think he had 90 passes against Arsenal, 90 passes against Everton. I know that could be a bit misleading, but it was in terms of what he was doing with the ball. He was controlling the games from deep, winning the ball back, protecting the back four, and we call him the Yorkshire Pirlo, but really, it's more of a Yorkshire Busquets or Yorkshire Casemiro. Someone who's just going to protect that back four, Mr. Reliable, puts a tackle in. But in terms of his passing range is just phenomenal. I think against Everton, it was 20 long passes he attempted, and I think he completed about 18 of them, something like that. Just in terms of pinging the ball onto the left wing, pinging the ball onto the right wing, and just getting us away. He's such an aesthetically pleasing player to watch. I think that's probably the best word for it. Such a pleasing player to watch, and And he's got a different. There's a big comparison between Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. But we've already seen for England, they can actually play together, but they're different. They are a lot more different than I think people respect. I think Declan Rice is playing alongside Souček, or sometimes he's playing alongside Mark Noble. He's always kind of playing in the two. He's never really just playing on his own as a single pivot. Calvin pretty much every single week's playing as a single pivot, and it's different kind of skill sets. I think obviously Declan Rice is more box to box, but Calvin tends to have to be a bit more disciplined, and in that respect, I think they're very different players, to be fair. But I think in terms of this game, whoever wins that battle, I think it's going to play a massive bearing on this game. And I wouldn't like to say, to be fair, who's going to win this battle, because I've been super impressed by Declan Rice, to be fair, in recent weeks.
Yeah, Matt, what's your kind of interaction on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone's been making about the comparison, but he is a fantastic player. I mean, and he showed it, the big debate last year, people keep saying, but he's not played the Premier League. And, he's only taken, a handful of games, 10 games, and he's already shown he is easily at top 6 standard, Calvin Phillips. I mean, personally, for me, I'd play the two of them together in England midfield and just leave the two of them. I'd get rid of Henderson. I'd just play Rice and, I'd change formation for England, played like a 4-4-2 and play them two holding. Rice will, it's one of them. They're both. It's very strange that you get the same sort of calibre of player for the same nation at the same time. We rarely see it, especially for England. We don't see that calibre of player. Like I said, his passing ability is phenomenal. They say Rice make it up and down more. He just sits there. And you saw when he had a couple of games out that Leeds did sort of struggle a bit more, and that's probably because he wasn't in front of the back four. Same way that if we lost Rice, we'd be playing worse without him. So he's a big player for them, and he's rightly now getting applauded. It's showing that, no, I can do it in the Premier League. It'll be interesting to see where his career goes, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Oscar, I mean, we could sit here and talk about players all day, but listen, there's no ifs or buts about it. At one point in West Ham's lifetime, we were trying to chase your manager, Bielsa. And I think, am I correct in saying, have we lost Oscar? I think we have. Hopefully he's got the same link and he'll join us. But Matt, we'll keep going. No, where he is.
There we go.
We just dropped out there for a minute, Oscar. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, sorry about that. Bad Wi-Fi. I apologise.
No, that's fine, mate. That's fine.
Guys, a lot of that, guys.
No, don't worry. If you can hear me, okay, we're actually talking about Bielsa. And I just wanted to hear your opinion on his statement this week, which was announcing the potential starting 11 early doors. What's your thoughts on that? And is that maybe trying to cover up a situation for the game tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, we've just been discussing. Actually, in terms of it's too rare for Bielsa. I don't think he's done it for to get a psychological advantage on Moyes. I don't think he's done it for any reasons like that. But in terms of the team itself, I mean, that's probably about as strong as we can go at the minute. In terms of injuries, it's quite well balanced despite the problems with the back four. It's probably as well balanced as we can get it. But in terms of why Bielsa's done that, I won't be able to tell you. But it's not something that's too rare with Bielsa. I think he's trying to show great confidence in the people who have come in. Obviously, Rodrigo Moreno. It's an interesting one, but in terms of that starting 11, that's probably about as strong as we can go. Dallas has tended to play mostly at left back for us. Alioski mostly on the wing, but they can play in those positions, left back and right back respectively, and the rest of the team kind of picks itself from that point. To be fair.
Yeah, no, Matt. I think it's something we don't see a lot in football over here. But Moyes even backed it up today, and he said that it's kind of known to be done in countries like Spain and other foreign countries where they will announce it, and it's also known in other sports quite a lot. And do you know what? There's something in it, like where a manager keeps all the information behind closed doors, but then there's also another level to think about where a manager puts it all out on the table, and the opposition manager looks at it and goes, "Oh shit, what did I do?" Like, he's given me everything.
Well, typical of this game, like you said, that manager that keeps it all close to his chest is Moyes. But on the flip side, we say every week, Moyes won't release the team. Like, even like the ITKs now, all struggling to get the team out. He's keeping it really close to his chest, but every week he puts the same team out, so it's kind of pointless. Yeah, Moyes could have turned around on Monday and gone, barring maybe one or two changes, the team I played last week will be the team I played this week. So it's kind of, it's kind of one of them, isn't it? Like, teams should know what other teams are playing, because if you just go They all have statisticians. They all have research guys. They should know. Okay, what's the most logical team? And if they got players out, you should. The Premier League probably doesn't do it enough compared to, or say football, maybe compared to other sports, but they do research the whole team. So you should know, like, if that guy comes out, this guy's going to go in. The fact he's done it, he's probably just done it to get the press off his back because he's got loads of injuries. Look, stop pushing me for it. This is going to be the team. But Moyes on the flip side won't give out anything until, I mean, we hadn't even addressed, the whole Masuaku thing. That's gone on today. And Moyes wasn't happy about that. So that proves what Moyes is like. He wasn't happy it came out. He's one that would keep close to chest. But, having said that, if we hadn't heard that today, I'd be telling you I'll be the same team as last week.
Yep.
Because even though Moyes hasn't said anything, you just know he'll pick the same team.
Well,
I don't think he's done it for mind games.
Let's come back to Leeds for a minute, Oscar, and let's have a look at the starting 11 you put out against Chelsea. And if you can have a look at that and see what you actually think. I mean, do you genuinely believe that what Bielsa said is true? Is that going to be the 11 he's going to put out? And in comparison to here, you obviously see some changes because you've had injuries, etc.
Yeah, I mean, if Bielsa will never kind of like, double take himself in that respect. That will definitely be the team he puts out. There's no doubt about that for me. I'd be very surprised if, having said that'll be the team, if he goes to something different, unless it's enforced, of course, with injuries. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty constant in terms of the starting 11s we go with. We don't make many changes at all. So, it's pretty much, we'll never make more noise at West Ham. And I think it's a pretty strong team. We've gone with probably the strongest team we could have gone with in the current circumstances. I think obviously Rodrigo had to come in. Obviously Rodrigo's being kind of he's been injured. He's come in, done a brilliant job. Then he's had COVID, and then he's not been able to get back into the team since. And this is his opportunity now, and I do expect him to make a bit of a difference in this game. Whether it's going to be enough for us to win the game, who knows? But I do think that's a positive for us that we've got Rodrigo in the team at least. If that completely covers our defensive deficiencies,
oh, have we lost Oscar?
Possibly.
I think we may have lost Oscar. I think he's having a few IT issues. I was going to say up there, but he's down there in comparison to me and up there from you, Matt. He's gone again, so let's see if he can come back in a second. It's definitely it's interesting, Matt. Bielsa, we can't remotely take away. Here he is again. Here we come back in again, mate.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Don't worry, mate. Listen, we won't keep you too much longer. We were just kind of bigging up. To be honest, I'm bigging up Bielsa and what he's done. And he's a manager. I like his style. I like his sneaking around the training grounds and seeing what everyone else is up to. I loved his PowerPoint presentation. I love the fact he was so open, and I like his style. I like the fact that he doesn't fully speak English yet, and he still has a translator. I just like it. I like a lot of that stuff about him, and the Leeds fans have really taken to him, haven't they? They love him to bits, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he could, if he ever does stay in Leeds, after he leaves the club, he'll never have to buy a beer in Leeds again. As the old saying goes. He'll what he's done for this football club will never be forgotten. He's already had a street named after him. I mean, it's just incredible what he's done for this football club. I never thought we'd have a kind of hero kind of figure at this football club again. Especially after the last couple of years. You're kind of thinking, when's it going to change? When are we going to get the results again? And it just happened. He just arrived at the football club and everything just changed in an instant. And what I will say is, to be fair, Bielsa, as far as I'm aware, can speak English perfectly well. I think the issue is he doesn't trust the media. The media in Spain, in France, when he spoke Spanish and French, tried to really take advantage of the situation, tried to give him answers and questions and tried to trip him up basically in interviews and that lot. And I think really in England, he's kept his card close to his chest. He's been very kind of safe with that kind of respect, just to make sure he doesn't get tripped up again by the media. Because I think throughout Bielsa's career, he's had problems with the media, not quite respecting his ways as such, and that's probably the main reason for that. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, he does communicate with players in English, and I think he just prefers to do it that way for that reason. Whether that's going to change, I don't think it is, because I think it's pretty much 2.5 years he's used as translator. But yeah. It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Couple of questions for you then, Oscar, related to West Ham. Let's look at the opposition's point of view coming into, West Ham are travelling to Elland Road, first time in a long time. What, from an opposition point of view, what's your thoughts on West Ham currently, the ownership? Just give me a kind of brief thoughts on West Ham just now, and how do you feel as a Leeds fan coming up against West Ham?
Well, I think obviously living quite close to Liverpool, I knew a lot about David Moyes at Everton, and to be fair, from this West Ham team at the minute, it does kind of look a lot like David Moyes at Everton in the respect that it's kind of the same makeup of team. Obviously Souček is kind of taking on that Fellaini kind of role, playing box to box, getting goals, being a massive threat with his head in the box and set pieces. Obviously, got Antonio there, kind of playing the Tim Cahill kind of role. And it's quite interesting from that respect. Obviously, Masuaku putting balls into the box. Moyes has always liked to use his fullbacks. And I do rate this West Ham team. I think defensively, I think they're absolutely superb. I think Valbuena, okay, last couple of years, hasn't been too great. But this season, I think he's really been superb. I think the whole back four's been superb, back three even. And yeah, I just think the team's really well balanced. And I think even if you have some injuries, Masuaku's out, I still think you've got enough there to really cause some problems. I think obviously the ownership's been an interesting one from an outsider looking in. I'm kind of with you. I've had those situations at Leeds, our last three owners before the current one, absolutely just could not have done the job any worse, could not have divided the fans much more. And I think that's kind of what's happened at West Ham. I think obviously results have naturally dictated that it's kind of looks at. I think everything looks not as bad as it is when the results are good. I think the results always exacerbate any kind of situation. Yeah. So I think that's definitely been the case at West Ham. I think obviously I'd imagine, the board once again will be under question. But I think what's interesting about West Ham is obviously you've recruited a lot of players from the Championship. And obviously in the past, that's kind of been like a no-go area, you can't bring players in from the Championship. It's a big step up. But you've got Antonio there, Owen, and Rama. These kind of players who, obviously Antonio was a couple of years ago, but you've shown that it can be done. These players can step up at this level, and that's quite interesting from that respect. Obviously, certainly used to be a really good value. I think now, obviously people say they're overvalued, but I think Owen, in terms of his impact at West Ham has been absolutely superb, and I think that's very interesting in that respect. Obviously, Souček is very much a kind of David Moyes kind of signing. I've always known that he's kind of been very much into his statistics and that. I think he's had a superb impact too. But yeah, I think you're a top team. I've always said I do think West Ham can finish top 10. I think in terms of that Ben Rama signing, I think it really brings that extra creativity. I think as soon as you do get him into the starting 11 regularly, I don't see why not. I don't see why West Ham can't finish top 10. I think under David Moyes, you've got a manager there who's had a lot of disrespect. Let's not forget, he's had a lot of disrespect since obviously that Man United job. Obviously, you went to Sunderland, you went elsewhere, went to West Ham, kept you up, then left, and then came back again, kept you up. And he's not quite had the respect. I think, if we went back 7 or 8 years, you're talking about David Moyes, you're talking about someone who probably would have been considered one of the top 10 managers in the world at the time, in terms of what he'd done at Everton. And I'm quite happy for him, to be fair, to see he's kind of bounced back from that situation. But obviously, I'm hoping he doesn't bounce back at Elland Road.
Oscar, before we jump on to predictions for the game, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions. Who is the man you fear the most from West Ham, and who is the man that West Ham should fear the most from Leeds United?
Well, I think from West Ham, if Antonio's playing, it's Antonio, no question about it. If Antonio's not playing, it's Jarrod Bowen. Because obviously Jarrod Bowen's a player we know all about, and obviously, they're probably the main two. But I've got to give a shout out to Ben Rama from the bench, because I know he's probably not going to start this game, but Ben Rama can change this game off the bench. No doubt about that in my mind. 20 minutes to go. If we're 1-0 up, if it's 0-0, and Ben Rama's coming on, it's panic stations at that time of the game.
It's funny, Oscar, because myself and Matt, we're going to go into a conversation once you kind of head, but we actually, I don't know where Matt's at, but I believe that Ben Rama probably will be unleashed against Leeds tomorrow. I think he will start. I think that, and I know there's West Ham fan bases all kind of pretty much not too sure, 50-50 when it comes to it, because obviously Masuaku coming out means that a fullback's missing. And what does that mean for a player like Benrahma? Is he going to come in being a fullback? He's absolutely not going to come in and be a fullback, but you've got different options there of how West Ham will set up. Do you swap Fornals for Benrahma, or do you change and drop Fornals completely, bring Benrahma in and put someone else in that slot? So there's so many different options there. But Benrahma and Moyes' style of bringing in new players shows consistency in potentially releasing Benrahma tomorrow for a starting position, because he's started to embed him in slightly. And over the last 2 games that he's came on as a substitute appearance, he's got 2 assists. He's looked dangerous on the ball. And, like you said, if you've got defensive issues at Leeds, now Moyes is being told he has to make an enforced change again. And that enforced change probably looks like it's probably going to be Benrahma, in my opinion. But I know we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's going to be interesting. Definitely going to be an interesting one. Oscar, before you go, because I'm worried your Wi-Fi is going to nip away again. What is your predictions for tomorrow night's game?
I'm going to be super positive and say 2-1 Leeds. But I do see, if we're not 100% at it, if you're getting balls into the box, I think West Ham can definitely get something from the game, to be honest. But as long as we get something from the game, I think it'll be a decent result for us. But I do think we can win it. I think obviously Rodrigo coming in because of an enforced change is going to be a bit of a positive for us. But mate, it's one of those games where any result won't surprise me. Any result won't surprise me. It won't surprise me if West Ham won. Won't surprise me if there's a draw. Won't surprise me if we win, because we're both kind of in similar form-ish, similar kind of makeup of teams. I don't think there's going to be a goal, more than a goal either side, but I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds, but I can certainly see it going either way, to be honest. I think the first goal's massive. The first goal's massive in this game. If you score first, like with any game for Leeds, we tend to lose games heavily when we can see first, because we have to commit men forwards, we have to try and press even higher up the pitch, and we leave a load of space in behind, which with Bowen, Antonio, Haller, Benrahma, is a scary thought for us. If we concede early, it's a really scary thought. So I'm kind of hoping Moyes kind of sits back a bit, and we're kind of like we start the game well and kind of push that first goal, because it's the other way around. We'd have big problems, to be honest.
Yep. Oscar, it's been an absolute pleasure for having you on, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. And anyone who's watching who wants to go check out his channel, it's All Leeds TV on YouTube. Oscar, myself and Matt are going to go off on a West Ham tangent. You don't need to stay here and listen to this stuff. So much appreciated for coming on to the show tonight. And I'm not going to wish you all the best for tomorrow, but I wish you all the best for the rest of the season, mate.
I could only return that. Yeah, obviously, all the best for the season. I think you're still going to finish top 10. But I think tomorrow's going to be a disappointing result anyway. But hopefully it's not as disappointing as my Wi-Fi anyway, guys. I do apologise for that. Good, mate. I apologise.
Listen, mate, take it easy. Thanks for joining us.
No worries at all, lads.
See you later, mate.
Bye. Cheers,
mate. Another interesting to have another away fan on. Again, Matt, really enjoying having the away fans on this season, actually. Something we've been wanting to do for a couple of years. It takes a lot of time to organise, but we get them on and they're coming on, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Before we move on to our beautiful club, the Claret and Blue of West Ham, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and make sure you get the comments in. On top of that, have you checked out the new podcast from Nigel Cann and Canning Town Len? They actually interviewed me. Don't know why they wanted to do it. I think they actually really wanted to rip the utter bollocks into me, but they got met head on. So go and check that out. Before we move on, as again, Matt, I want to bring people's attention, because if they've been asking and we've done what they've wanted us to do, which is a little bit of merchandise. So we brought in some mugs for you. As you can see, there's mugs there. And there's some different selections. Now, listen, we've got them in stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the shop in the comments below. But we don't have a huge amount of them left. And let me be brutally honest with you, the black and white one there, which I really like, is only got 2 of them left. The white one with the full colour logo, I think we've got 6 of them left. The Bonds and the Dicks, we've only got 1 of them left each. They're kind of a limited edition. And the gold one, we've only got 1 of them left each. So if you're interested, jump into the shop, which is in the comments below. And get purchasing, and hopefully you can get it in time before Christmas. Do you like that, Matt? Do you like that plug? But listen, at the end of the day, people are asking us for it. So we've got to give to them, the people, what they want.
Remember the people, give them what they want. They ask for it, you're giving it to them.
That's it. But listen, before we move on, we need to go and hear what the gaffer had to say. Matt, ahead of the game tomorrow, Moyes does his press conference. We come out the night before the game for our preview, and this is what he's had to say. It's probably doubtful on McQuell. He's still recovering, so at this moment in time, he's more than likely doubtful for the game. On Antonio, tell me your thoughts on that, Matt.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you believe rumours, he's going to miss the next 2 games. But I know he said it's a different injury, didn't he? But we all sat here before the Villa game when he started him, and we were like, he's going to get injured again, and he's going to break down, it's too soon. And lo and behold, he lasted 45 minutes and came off injured. So he needs to just rest him until he's actually fit to come back. Because he's already shown that when he's fit and firing, he's too important for this team. Like, he makes the front line tick. You know, it's a different utility up front entirely to Haller. We need him. But at the same time, you've got to stop bringing him back early, because he's not one of these ones that once he's slightly fit, he's good. He needs to be 100% fit, or he's just going to break down again. Yeah, Moyes took the gamble and he lost. Yeah,
he did. No, he did. Yeah, and you know, it's a shame because you just don't want a player who's performing at that high level breaking down. But you know, you can. There's a lot of rumours kicking about this week about players playing in different positions in training, etc. I believe one. I don't believe the other, to be honest, as such. You know, when it comes to like Yarmolenko, for example, and of course Yarmolenko is going to be playing up top anyway in training because he's a forward-thinking player, etc.
Well, he plays forward for Ukraine, doesn't he? So
yeah, exactly.
He plays forward for Ukraine. So
exactly. Let's have a look at it, see what else Moyes has been saying. Most of the rest of the squad are okay at the moment. We're waiting on Ryan Fredericks. He's had an injury for a day or two with a bit of a groin strain and has just come back. I don't think that's a massive loss really for West Ham, is it, Matt?
Is he ever not injured?
But listen,
I don't mean to be harsh about it, but like it's like almost like not every week, but it's like almost every other week or like once every 3 weeks. It's like, oh, Fredericks has got a knock in training. He's probably not going to be in the squad this week.
Yeah,
you know, it happened. Was it a month back when nothing was said? It was just Ben Johnson was on the bench instead, and after the game was like, oh, he's picked up a knock again.
Yeah,
and then I think he's been fine for 2 weeks, not in the squad, and he's got a knock again.
Yeah,
like. We've got enough of these players as it is. We don't need any more of them. These, you know, as harsh as it is, we don't need injured players. We haven't got a big enough squad.
Yeah, no, of course, mate. Listen, let me jump on to the next one because we've got loads to actually get caught up with. I've always thought that Leeds coming back would add to the Premier League. They've been involved in some great games. Their style is great to watch. They've got a really experienced manager, and he's certainly got a really good group of players. And then he goes on to say, very often teams were named beforehand in countries like Spain. We see it in other sports. It doesn't happen in our sport for different reasons. But overall, does it make it easier? I don't think so, because they're a good team. We'll keep our team until we're ready to announce it, and we'll prepare our players for the game. And that's him reacting to Bielsa's comments, saying that he was going to name his starting 11. Mind games a little bit, Matt?
No, I think, well, look, as I said a bit earlier, we know Moyes ain't going to say it early. He just doesn't. You know, one of the first things he's done both times he's come in, he's clamped down and gone, I want to stop the leaks. You know, he wants to run the club. He doesn't want to answer to Sullivan and Gold. He's not telling them stuff like, no, this is my team. I'm running it. I'm not giving you anything. No hints. Da, da, da. But he's right. Other teams do it. Like I said, you know, other teams do it. But also other teams know. Like other sports, you know, this is their first team. This is the second team. This is the subs. This will come in for this one. You know, don't forget, every Premier League team now has got a 25-man squad, right? So essentially, you've got 2 players for every position plus 3 spare. So if your first partnership of centre-backs are both injured, then logic would tell you, well, they've got 2 more centre-backs. So whether he announced it or not, unless he like entirely changed formation and went from like a 5-3-2 to like a 4-3-3 or something, that would be a surprise. And you wouldn't want to do that, because if you've made new tactics and a new formation for a game, you wouldn't want to do it. But if he's just got, you know, by force of hand, this guy's injured, this guy's got to replace him, it doesn't really make a difference. But I suppose Moyes will probably look at it and go, is it mind games? He'll just ignore it. He won't get sucked into it. Moyes is old school. He won't be like, all right, he can say that. But I don't think, for one, I don't think it's going to matter. And like Moyes said, they've got a good team. You know, same as Man City. If Man City had a player injured, you wouldn't care. You'd be like, all right, well, someone's going to replace him.
Yep.
You've got to beat the team that's in front of you on the day. It's one of them.
Well, a bit more news that came out of West Ham today was the sad news about Masuaku. He's going to be out for a while, and as you can see here, he posted this on his Instagram. That's him lying on his bed after having an operation on his knee. He said, "Hi everyone, I hope you're all good today. I'm having a knee surgery to help me remove the pain that's been bothering me for nearly 2 years now. It's been a very difficult decision to make, but for my good being and the rest of my career, I have to make it. I'll be giving you updates here through my recovery, and we'll see you soon again on the field. I wish my teammates, brothers, the very best." What's your thoughts on that, Matt?
Well, the first thing is, it's not actually there anymore. He's taken it down.
Yeah.
Because Moyes apparently blew his top, didn't he? Because Moyes, in the conference yesterday, hadn't said anything about Masuaku and that he was injured, and that was going to be one of his keeping it close to his chest on the day changes. So the post has been taken down, but I don't see why Moyes has made him take it down. This isn't the 1960s, this isn't the 1970s. This isn't like once you put in the paperwork, you get the article retracted. Once it's been on the internet, that's it. Everyone's seen it. It's there. It's interesting. It's been bothering for 2 years. It's interesting.
It means that it's an enforced change from Moyes. Yeah. But also, what's interesting is how long is he going to be out for?
It doesn't say, does it?
No.
Because don't forget, didn't he have didn't he not go in national duty last time because of it?
Yeah.
Didn't he rest it or get a little bit of surgery done or something? So,
but when you read into this statement a little bit more, it's saying it's a very difficult decision, but for the good of my being and the rest of my career, I have to make it.
So it must be quite serious.
It must be quite a serious injury, yeah. It must be, and for something like that, Matt, I can't see that being a 4 to 6 week recovery period.
I'm thinking 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I'm thinking a long term.
Top of my head. Yeah.
I'm thinking borderline end of season. Potentially,
but
yeah.
So. I guess the left back's going to be a priority next month.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're lucky we're in December now, so you've only got 3 weeks until the window opens. So that gives West Ham 3 weeks to go and find a left back to buy. Unless they give the kid around the 23s a go again, because he played in the game.
Oh, what's his name? The young lad. He had a kind of terrible start, but then he came out and done all right, didn't he, in the end? Yeah.
Unless they give him a go, or unless they do something I really don't want to do, which is play Johnson there.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one, but it means that now West Ham are going, like we said, are going to have to make an enforced change again for the game. And does that bring in the likes of? Is this now giving West Ham the opportunity to look at a player like Ben Rama? Actually, before we even talk about that, get your comments in below and let me know who you would like to start in your starting 11 against Leeds tomorrow night. Yeah, Matt. When it comes to a player like, Masuaku coming out, we mentioned it when Oscar from All Leeds TV was on, and we were saying there that, he kind of alluded to the fact that he doesn't think Ben Rama will start. I was speaking to Stell earlier today. He doesn't think Ben Rama will start, and I think he will start, to be honest. And I think, what's your thoughts?
It depends how brave Moyes is, because you can do it one of two ways. Fornals could quite easily, don't forget, with Fornals' work rate and his defensive, he will stick to whatever he's told to do. He could quite easily go backwards into Masuaku's position and move Ben Rama in front of him. But it will honestly depend on how brave Moyes is. I hope he does that and drops Fornals back to the left wing position and puts Ben Rama in front of him. But then it wouldn't surprise me if, like I just said, if he brought in Ben Johnson and put Ben Johnson at left back. The only thing I'm crying out that he doesn't do is put Creswell there, because he just hasn't got the pace to do it.
Yeah. It's I don't know, mate. I just think that this is the game. Leeds have got defensive problems. Okay, they've got a goal scoring striker. He's on form just now, but they've got a good player in the middle of the park. And I'm not trying to do them an injustice whatsoever. They've got a great manager and they can do well, but we can get at them. We know we can get at a team like Leeds, especially a team like Leeds who have got problems in defence, and therefore Haller, who's looking all right, is feeling good about himself. He looks a bit good about himself. We've got Bowen, who's got a history of playing against Leeds, who's found a little bit of form. You know what? I don't think he's ever not found form. I think he's just final passing hasn't been.
Yeah, he's just been a bit off. Yeah,
it's just been a bit off with his final bit of passing. I thought he was kind of, twinkle toes and playing up for it against in particular the first half against Man United. You've got Fornals, who's got a strong work rate, and again, people are ripping into him because it's his final third. It's his last. It's his decision making at the end. Like he was
unlucky last week. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know, but people are digging him out for it. And then you've got the likes of Benrahma, who's sitting on the bench, who's creative, who's came off the bench twice and got 2 assists. And you can't help but think that with the Masuaku news, that's the opportunity now for a player like Benrahma to come in. And you're saying there about pushing Creswell out onto the left could be an option, but that's changing the Creswell.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to do it. Yeah,
and that would be insane. While you're getting the best from a player, we know what he's given to us, what we know he's capable of doing, and we've missed for 3 seasons
from that left centre back.
And now he's performing to that level week in and week out, beside the partnership between Augie and Balbuena, and we can't change that. We cannot change that. So therefore, it leaves one decision only. And this is again another week, Matt, where West Ham fans and me in particular are calling on David Moyes to have the balls to change it, because we can't play week in and week out with the same formation. Matt, we're about to head into this run of fixtures that we've got. We know how many did we calculate we had?
Was it 8 in the month or something? 7
Yeah.
8 or 7 in the month?
Yeah. So we're going to have to use the squad. We're now, slowly but surely
picking the injuries up.
Antonio's gone. Slowly but surely, Masuaku's gone. And we need to be able to change it about a bit and see what we're capable of. And what I don't want to happen is that we leave it late and we're forced into constant changes, and then we've got to give it 4 or 5 games for these players to get used to each other.
Well,
now is the time to unleash drama.
Yeah, for me, I do worry he'll put Creswell there, and that'll bring Diop in, and then you're losing the attacking. For me, I know he's going to a more attacking position, but I think you'd lose the attacking prowess of Creswell because he hasn't got the pace and the legs to do it.
Yeah.
If he wants to put someone more defensive there, I'd even be more honest. I'd rather put like Snodgrass there at left wing back, because they struggle from crosses, Leeds. So if you put like Snodgrass there, he can whip in some set pieces and some crosses.
Well, you never know. I mean, Snoddy's got a bit of history with Leeds as well. He played with them as well, and the media team have been pushing Snoddy this week, haven't they? Making the fans feel all like, Snoddy, he's not been a part of the team, but he is part of the squad, etc. And I don't know, mate. I mean, there's loads of comments in here, people giving us their starting 11. So we'll jump on to some of them before we move. Oh, Matt, can you hear me okay? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, what's he doing? He's on mute. I don't know what's happening here tonight. We've got people with different Wi-Fis and everything. Oh, I can hear me in the background, Matt. Now.
I can sort of hear you, mate. It's a bit coming in and out at the moment. I'm struggling.
Right, hold on a second then. Listen, I'm going to jump onto the comments and have a look through some of these. What's Stel saying? Let's see what he's saying. I want Fabianski, Sofao, Ogbonna, Balbuena, Creswell, Souček, Rice, Benrahma, Bowen, Haller, Fornals. And
there we go. Yeah, I'm back. Go on. You're right.
You're back now. Let's just see what people else are saying. Flat back 4 with Fornals central and Benrahma wide. Are we going for a back 4 still? But still saying we'll get Fabianski, Sofao, Diop, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Creswell, Rice, Souček, Bowen, Fornals, Haller. I don't agree. I don't think we will. I think I just can't see it. It's stupid. It would be a really stupid decision to move Creswell away from his current position. Misley is saying Benrahma should start.
For me, you've got to start Benrahma. Like you said, like with Leeds' issues at the back, it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
We all said from the start, Moyes would take a while to bring him in. And now he's got that enforced change. It's a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. People are saying, what about Lanzini? Listen, when Lanzini came off the bench the other day, not against Man United, was it Villa? I thought he looked really good. I thought he actually looked really up for it. And in the 15 minutes appearance that he made, he genuinely looked like the old Lanzini. It was 15 minutes. I get that. But yeah, let me get through. Matt, you're struggling to hear me again, aren't you? Irish Tommy, just out of interest, are you Irish Tommy as in American Hammers Network? Is that what they call it? Tommy, I want to talk to you, mate, because you said you're from Tipperary. That's where my mum's from. So let's have a chat somehow. I don't know how we can chat, but let's have a chat. Stel, you've already told us your team, so we'll just... Neil's saying...
4-3-3.
Creswell, Oggy, Balbuena, Sofal, Rice, Fornals, Sochek, Benrahma, Haller, Bowen.
Listen, so you pushing Fornals into the middle.
Yeah. I would take
but
that,
you're
mate.
changing the whole formation and you're leaving Creswell exposed on the left. Like, that's the only thing I worry about now. With Masuaku not in, Creswell hasn't got the pace. So, especially if they lay that Rafina, he's quick as anything.
Yeah. The but to that, though, is that if you're on form and you're playing well and you step over slightly, Moyes could be thinking that, I've got to give you a game. He's going to have to make a change, mate. And I don't see it's either taking a player. If you put Creswell, I don't know. If you get the comments in, keep the comments coming in and let us know your thoughts on it, to be honest. I suppose another thing we want to talk about is the game of two halves against Manchester United and how will Moyes cope with if we're underperforming. What does he do in the second half? I mean, we literally had a game of two halves. Matt, how will Moyes cope? How do you think he'll set up? We'll come to the starting 11 in a minute. Oh,
all right. I'm sort of here. Go on, I'm sort of all right. Struggling.
You can't hear me at all, Matt, can you? Oh, we're having a nightmare here. We're having a nightmare with Matt.
How's the set up? Sorry, we're here. Right. I would have a go personally, but he's not an aggressive manager, is he? He's a manager that sets his stalls out first, don't get beat, and then take it from there. So this is what I'm thinking. He's just going to shift Creswell out to left back and put Diop in, but I really, really hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
I would personally rather move Fornals back. Or, you know what? I wouldn't even be annoyed if he didn't start Benrahma, but he started Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Because he played left back. He's actually played left back for us last season.
He's got pace.
Yeah. What my worry is that if you've watched some of the Leeds this season, they are quick on the... Like us, they're quick, high press, and they're quick on the counter. And that's why Chris was done so well this year. Why? Because he's been tucked in as a centre-back. He's not had to venture out onto the wings. For much as we slated Masuaku last year, he's done really well protecting and stopping Creswell from getting overly exposed down the flank. Fornals could do that job if you wanted to move him back and put Benrahma in front of him. That would be me.
Matt, do you think West Ham fans, do you think we're worried about Leeds and Bielsa because of the start to the season that they've had? If you think about what people are even saying in the comments, Leeds were horrible against Chelsea. Was that the fact that they were horrible, or were Chelsea really good? They've not had a bit of form recently. I think I've had the last run of... I can hear myself in the background, Matt. Do you think we're worried about Leeds and Bielsa? I can totally...
I would...
Matt, I'm going to have to... Mate, Matt, I'm going to drop you out, mate, because it's going back and forth.
I would be worried about Leeds. Like, I've seen them play.
Yeah.
They play high press. Like, we don't like that. We don't like pressing from the front. They play high press. They're good at football. I mean, I don't know if you saw the game against Arsenal the other week. How they didn't win that game. They would work a couple of times. Obviously, they had the guys sent off.
Yeah.
But like the Arsenal fans said, they got mistakes at the back. They can't handle set pieces well. They get exposed in the air. Their tallest centre back's like 6 foot. So that you really should be piling in the crosses for like Souček and Haller. And if you can get round that front press, then you can get at them.
Let me tell you some of the stats for Leeds this season. They've played 11, they've won 4, they've lost 5, they've scored 16, and they've conceded 20 with only 4 clean sheets, so they concede goals. If you look at their fixtures throughout the season, they beat Liverpool, they got beat by Liverpool 4-3, they then won their next game 4-3, so they're conceding goals there. They beat Sheffield United, they drew with Manchester City, got beat by Wolves, beat Aston Villa, got beat 4-1 by Leicester, got beat 4-1 by Crystal Palace, drew with Arsenal, beat Everton, and got smashed by Leeds 3-1 as well. So there's goals there, left, right, and centre. It's definitely a big,
They seem very bipolar, and it's like the Oscar said, it's the thing's the first goal. They get that first goal, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
because that plays into them. But if you get the first goal, they go even more over the top, high press, push up the pitch, harry it. And when you've got someone like Haller up front and you can play a long ball into him, you can just bypass that press and you're in at their back four. And we know in this league, if you haven't got a solid back four, you're in trouble. That's one of our key things this year. I mean, how many times last year did we go on about, we've changed the team again, we've changed formation, we've changed the players. We never had a steady back four. How many games in a row now has Ogbonna, Creswell, and Balbuena played? Yeah. And you can see between those back three and the wing backs that it's solid and steady. For them, it's... I mean, apart from the Palace game, because I don't know how they lost the Palace game, I think Palace had 4 shots on goal, scored 4 goals, sort of thing. One of them was like a really freakish own goal. They like Norwich last year. They're very open. They play attractive football, but they score in the goals. Norwich didn't score a lot of goals last year. Leeds are still scoring the goals, and it's they are going to be one of them teams this year where they're going to have they'll probably concede 60 goals, and they'll probably score 70 goals. They'll be one of them teams. Like they're going to score. They're going to get 2-3s, 3-4s all season. They're not going to be a team that gets 1-0s or 2-1s. So it's. I think for them, every game this year, the first goal is going to be key. And I think we've scored. Is it 6 away games in a row now, or 6 games in a row we scored the first goal? I think I saw a stat earlier. So
let me give you the stats for West Ham this season. We've played 11, we've won 5, we've lost 4. So very similar to the Leeds stats there. They've won 4, lost 5. The difference is we've scored 18 and conceded 14, but we've got the same amount of clean sheets. But 4 clean sheets for West Ham at this early stage of a season is actually progress for West Ham. So we've got to look at something there.
You consider the fact we conceded 3 against Tottenham and 3 against Man United.
Yeah,
that's almost half the goals, and that was 2 games. So it's
absolutely.
We're defensively better. I know that doesn't say it, but we are a lot better than we have been. And that has been Moyes' thing this year, hasn't it? Build from the back, which is why I'm worried that he's just going to put Creswell out there and put Diop in.
Yep.
Because that's the defensive easy option rather than... Because Fornals could do that position. I said even Snodgrass. Snodgrass can play left wing back. Put him out there. He's not got the pace, but he won't go forward as much. He'll just sit there.
Yeah.
Or Ben Johnson.
Yep, definitely an option, mate. Well, listen, before we move on to predictions, etc., we need to go through our starting 11. So while we're going to go through our starting 11, let's bring on a guest who's obsessed with coming on shows. He just wants to get his face in front of the camera at every single occasion. And isn't it, Matt? Isn't it just embarrassing, really? That gets
going to lower the standard of the show. It's professional to this point.
Yeah, this is what he actually really wants, right? You ready? This is what he really wants. Good evening, Stel.
I thought I'd come on and try and save the day because, like, you seem to be talking to yourself half the time, mate. I mean,
yeah, we don't know what's going on with Matt's internet and Oscar's internet today.
You kept kicking the poor guest off. I don't understand what's going on there.
Well, listen, Stel. I'm going to be really strict with you tonight. Okay, we're nearly an hour. I'm baffled at how we've even gone to an hour and we haven't even discussed the starting 11 and the predictions and even gone through the comments yet. So
that's because you just talk a lot of crap, mate. That's the problem.
You're on a strict
coming from you missed a 3-hour show. Jesus.
Yeah.
So I did 2.5 hours the other night. I was a bit gutted.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got 2 options here. We've got what we want and we've got what we think Moyes will do. Right. Yeah. So let's go down the route of what we think Moyes will do.
I think Moyes will go defensive. I cannot see it any other way. He's either gonna put Diop in or he's gonna put Ben Johnson in as a replacement for Masuaku. He'll go defensive. I'd love for him to go for it. There's no way he will. You know he won't.
Do you think him going for it though is putting Ben Rama in replacement of either Masuaku keeping Fornals in? Is that West Ham going for it, or is that West Ham, trying their best to keep a similar formation? My biggest concern would be, I know what you're saying about going defensive, but taking our most informed how do you describe Creswell? Because he's not the most informed defender. We've got a couple of most informed defenders, but one of our most informed defenders who we know is capable of doing something so well in that position. He's found his form again. We've been desperate for him to find his form again, and then suddenly putting him out of position, it could absolutely scupper his complete season and Moyes' long-term plans. That's my only thinking behind why Moyes might not change the Creswell situation. Come at me.
Well, I'll say Creswell's in his best form for years, isn't he? Let's be fair.
Yeah.
And as I said, that formation, that position suits him because you hide the fact that he has no pace and he can't get up and down the pitch. So for me, as well though, Moyes is very cautious, isn't he? He's not an aggressive, offensive manager. I think Stell's right. I personally think it's going to be Johnson. I know Diop would make more sense, but I don't think he'll put Creswell out there.
Yeah.
Because if you put Diop in, you'd have to move on Bono. And then you're like changing three positions, and it's just because for me, you always want a left footer on that left hand side. So if you bring Diop in, you then got to move on Bono out to that left hand side. So now you've taken him out of the centre, you've moved Creswell out to the wing, and you've put Diop in, and you've made three positions for one thing.
That's a good point. So you're right. It'll be Ben Johnson then.
Surely it's got to be Johnson because you can just do a like for like.
You're right. Yeah. But the only way Ben Rama's going to play tomorrow night is start, should I say? The only way he's going to start if he replaces Fornals. He will not play both players.
He won't, but he could because he could put Fornals in that left wing back position.
But you do need to look at the defensive problems that Leeds have got and the amount of goals that they do concede. They are conceding a lot of goals against sides that we can turn up and have really performed well against. And like I said earlier on, when you've got a player who's starting to find a bit of form, starting to look really good about himself, Haller, you've got Bowen, who's got a history of playing against Leeds and doing well against them. And I know all three of us are all Bowen fans and don't think he should even be getting substituted when he's getting substituted, etc. I've got to give plaudits to Fornals. I wish he would put some of the balls in the back of the net or make the final pass. But at the end of the day, he's been instrumental into why our season has been going so well. He keeps battering against me, going pull Fornals out of the team. He keeps turning up each week and performing and putting the work rate in. So the funny thing is, we are trying our best to name what we think Moyes will do, and we can't do it because we're all thinking something different, really.
The thing is, Moyes always plays to type. That's what we know about him. Yeah. He's risk averse. He doesn't like to gamble. If you honestly think he's going to put 4 attack-minded players on the pitch at the same time, you're wrong. As much as we want we can dream. He will not have Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, and Haller on the pitch at the same time to start.
See tomorrow when that team news is announced and see if that is true.
Oh, mate, I'll be over the moon, but I cannot see it. I think we all know the one thing that we know for sure what Moyes is he's risk averse. Yeah. And as much as we all want Benrahma to start, it's going to be at the price of for either Fornals or just maybe, I hate to say this, or Bowen. Because I don't know if you saw the stats.
I don't think he'll drop Bowen.
I can't see it, but he's been subbed 17 times in 27 appearances. That's an awful lot of subs. All right, three of them
it's probably
were
the workload, though. He puts in a lot of work.
Possibly, mate, possibly, but it's quite a lot for a player to be. He's 24 years old, so he should be able to run his socks off for 90 minutes and some. I'm not saying he will. I think the likely candidate is going to be Fornals. But if you really think that Moyes is going to put 4 attack-minded players on the pitch at the start of a game,
I was trying to think. Was it the Aston Villa game when he took Masuaku off for Benrahma, and then Fornals did drop back?
Yeah.
So there is the possibility of it, but I think it'll be Johnson.
Well, listen,
I'm beginning to believe that too, Matt. I think you're right. I think I kept saying to Anton earlier today that it would be Diop, but you're right. It would mean it would unbalance the whole back line.
Yeah.
So I go with Johnson. Yeah.
Get your predictions in the comments below. Let us know what you think the scores will be for tomorrow night.
I've looked
going to be an interesting one. It really is. Before we do move on a little bit more, I'm going to bring it up again. Stell, I'm going to bring it up again. Have your cups arrived yet?
Leave off. What, you send them via Australia or something?
Well, listen, you're one of the ones that haven't got it. You two haven't actually got your mugs yet, but other people have. So that's positive news.
Don't believe that he sent them, Matt. I reckon he's left and what's left.
But if you are interested in purchasing the mugs, we are running low on stock. We have them in stock. And if you want them delivered before Christmas, go to our store. It is pinned in the message in the chat below. And yeah, get purchasing if you want them. If you want them before Christmas. So predictions, guys. Still.
Okay, 3-1. Bowen. Great.
You're going for 3-1 Leeds. West Ham, sorry.
3-1 West Ham. Yeah, 3-1 West Ham. Not Leeds. Not us. 3-1 Ham. Allaire brace.
Right. Okay. I'll take that. Matt.
2-1. I think it's. You know what? It's going to be a 2-1 or it's going to be a 4-3. Because it's one of them. We're both of their teams where it's either going to be a really tight game, or Leeds are just going to go concede the first goal, go head for leather, and it's just going to be like a basketball game.
Yeah. I do think I do agree. I think there will be goals scored in this game. I think Leeds are definitely capable, even though they're struggling defensively. They have got an attacking threat in Bamford, who I never thought I would actually say that about genuinely in his career. But you've got to give credit where credit's due. I think we can't underestimate a Bielsa team. We know what he's capable of. But we also can't underestimate the way that West Ham have been performing, albeit the second half against Manchester United, we absolutely, I don't know, 2 substitutions, 2 World Cup class players, absolutely changed that whole game. And I really hope we can show up against them and actually show them what's going to do. But anyway, I'm going to go for a 3-2 West Ham victory. I think there'll be goals scored for both teams. Still, anything you want to talk about before we head?
I'm disappointed that Masuaku.
The what? You are, mate. Don't listen.
I'm really disappointed that I heard the news earlier today that Arthur's not going to be playing for a few weeks.
It's going to be longer.
I don't know who I'm going to blame. For any
few weeks, mate. I reckon it's been months.
It's going to be
months, isn't it?
Weeks.
It looks like it's
an injury. I can't imagine it being weeks.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier on. If you were watching the show that you're involved in still, if you read in his comment, he actually says he's been battling the pain for nearly 2 years now. It's been a very difficult decision to make, but for the good of me giving and the rest of my career, I have to make it. So the fact that he's saying it's the rest of his career, there's no way he's going to take 6 weeks off just to get a little, it could be longer than that. And, this is where West Ham are going to have to start using the depth in our squad and,
Well, this is the irony, though, mate. We kept saying pre-season that the areas that we thought we needed to strengthen in was the left side of defence, centre midfield, and another striker. And now we don't have. I mean, I know we got Ben Johnson, but I rate the boy. So I hope he's going to show us what he's made of tomorrow. Because, Matt's right. He is likely to start tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anthony Jones is saying West Ham win 2-0 headers from set pieces. Sheena's saying 3-1. David Murray is saying 3-1 to West Ham. Merrin is saying 3-2. West Ham. Irish Tommy Hallel will fall over and accidentally hit the ball in 1-0 West Ham.
I'll take it, mate. I wouldn't even care. I'll take
it. I'll take that.
Honestly, do you know what? I'm going to bring Irish Tommy's comments back up there because I was actually asking to make a connection because I'll be honest with you.
I've sent him the Twitter.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Irish Tommy, and I'll be honest with everyone. I don't really watch a lot of YouTube. I just don't watch a lot of YouTube. A mixture of work, running the channel, etc. But one night I caught Irish Tommy on American Hammer's TV. I must have been up with the kids or whatever. And I heard the accent and I was commenting on it and I was trying to find out if he was from Tipperary. So he's from the area where my mum's from. So I love the fact that I know an area where someone else is from and they're big West Ham fans. So yeah, definitely like to have a chat with you, Irish Tommy. So
try and work that one out, Irish Tommy. An Englishman with a Scottish accent who has Irish links.
Well, all you need to do is go to Nigel Cans and
I've listened to it. I listened to it earlier today. I actually thought it was quite good. I thought
it was quite good.
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoyed it myself listening back to it. Anyway, Joan is saying 3-0 West Ham. Go on, Joan. That's what we like to see. Brilliant. 2-0 Mishley is saying Bowen and Benrahma. A 2-2 draw.
Desmond.
Leave Asalo 3-1 West Ham. Let's have it. 0-0. 0-0 to the Claret and Blue. 0-2. Irish Tommy saying 3-2 West Ham. Vinay saying 3-0 West Ham. Haller, Benrahma, Credwell.
3-0, jeez.
Yep. What's this one? Paul Lang saying 3-1 West Ham. So many comments in here. Neil saying 3-2. Darren Bow 2-0. I'm going to say 4-2. Haha. But there's just so many comments. Anything we want to say? I mean, listen, I came on here with the thoughts that would be 45 minutes. We're an hour and 11. So if you want to stay on, I'll stay on and we'll have a chit chat and just go for it if you want. Or if you don't, then we can just have our nights to ourselves. But listen, if Lenny's listening, Stella's doing the match day live tomorrow night. So that's cool. Thank you, Lenny.
I've got the headphones on. She's not listening.
You have to make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the match day live. We will be coming to you live.
Hang on, is your missus going to let you stay on, or are you going to be in trouble again after the last time?
Can I tell you what?
Go on, here we go. Go on.
Tomorrow is my last day for nearly 4 weeks.
Got the finger out still. You're in trouble.
I've worked.
What do you mean it's your last day for nearly 4 weeks?
Because I've managed to.
Kicking you out for 4 weeks?
my annual leave is. I had to use my annual leave. I've worked all the way through the whole of this.
Sorry, I got distracted by this.
Anton is English.
No, Anton is English. He really is, apparently, Stu. He really is.
Stu, mate.
He's English.
Stu, mate, you need to go and listen to this this podcast. It's about that.
No, it's good, actually. It is worth listening to. Yeah, definitely.
I can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, so I'm on annual leave and I'm going to be off for a good solid 3.5 weeks. So tomorrow night...
You're telling me your missus is going to let you take all 4 weeks to do footballing stuff?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, what are you saying, mate?
What I'm saying to you is, tomorrow night, I'm celebrating. So I'm going to have a little drink while we're doing the match day live.
I'll be drunk already because I'm having a virtual Christmas party with my team.
Oh, you're definitely on this tomorrow night then. Yes. Do you know what? I'm going to join you. I'm going to start drinking.
Look at this. Anton
is a plastic skull.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun tomorrow, especially when we smash Leeds.
What's this here? James Bong snapped my mother was from Tipperary 2-0 to the Claret. It's brilliant. So tomorrow night we've got Leeds. It's at Elland Road. We've not played them for so long.
Are you going to promise me not to invite random strangers onto the show?
Well, listen to me,
please, mate. After the Man U game, that guy, we couldn't get him off.
We were desperate for guests at that point. No, we're only joking. We went. We do have a Leeds fan coming on tomorrow. Another Leeds channel is actually coming on to join us on Matchday Live just for 20 minutes.
Okay,
it's already arranged, so we'll check that out as well. I don't know. Is there anything else you really want to talk about, or are we just rambling?
Talking about your Englishness, I think, is what we need to talk about.
Right, come on, still ramble because you like to ramble. Everyone watches you.
No, I don't ramble. I write scripts, mate. I don't. Unlike you.
Okay. Yeah.
Rambles on for 3 hours
about very good stuff.
Listen, Stell, I did send you a message earlier on. You didn't reply. I spoke to Matt
about what?
About something else we might bring out, but it's.
I saw it. Matt, I was a little bit like.
I showed it to Matt,
it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Matt's like 100% behind it. He's like, "Oh my word!"
Right.
Like, yeah. So
it's a good idea.
Should we put a comment out? Should we let people know or say anything?
No,
about
it's beginning to become a sales show.
Oh well, okay.
Like every 5 minutes, it's by the way, if you like our mugs.
People asked us though. People asked us.
Have you put the advert on for the sponsors today? Oh no, it's not a show.
It's not this show.
Yeah.
It's not this show. So tune in tomorrow and you'll see all our adverts for our shows.
Have someone got us chatting in the background?
Matt,
I can hear an echo. Is that Matt? No, yeah.
Yeah, watch. We've muted him now. I know you can't hear it anymore.
Can he not hear through?
No. Listen, we're rambling.
What a shambles we are.
We're rambling about nothing. Anyway, thanks for joining us on our preview. Hopefully we can turn up tomorrow. Make sure you join us for a match day live. We'll be starting, I think the kickoff's 8 o'clock, so we'll come on to you just before 7 o'clock. Short road.
Mate, you should start up the Tipperary Hammers.
Honestly, it's a good shout. It wouldn't be me, it'd be Irish Tommy. So yeah, it's good. Anton won't let us buy any.
Yeah. Exactly. All the overseas trade is just.
Oh no! Have I not told people?
No, you haven't, mate. No.
Oh my word! We have a solution.
Oh dear,
we have a solution. I can't believe that. What, Matt? Why did you not remind me of this? This is the last.
Kieran, get your wallet out, mate. No excuse now.
We have got a solution to how we can get people shipped. So what they need to do is if they go onto our shop, under each of the item that they want to purchase, there's a separate link that sends an email to us. We'll reply to you in an email with the shipping costs, and then it's up to you if you want to make the purchase. We've had someone from Germany, I'll talk to you about this actually after still, because you know the guy, message us tonight saying that he wants to, and he's happy to pay the shipping costs. So we're totally cool with that, but we're going to be transparent with you, and that's the only issue we've got is the shipping costs are quite expensive. We want to make sure you're going to get the item as well. So yes, if you are interested, go onto our shop. There's a link that takes you to an email. You send an email to ourselves saying where you live. We'll come back to you with a price. I've actually got all the prices sitting here beside me, how we can get them sent to you. So we're sending one to Germany tomorrow, so it can be done. Sorry, I didn't even think of telling people that. And I've seen Kieran's comment.
Kieran's like, you can stick them now.
Right, listen, and we have rambled for another 10 minutes on nothing. So
no. You've done your sales spiel. No. You know, done his sales spiel. Now he's earned himself another, £2 for a drink or something. I don't know.
You know this, right? So you might buy around it now. Still, all this money.
I never buy rounds according to you lot.
You don't.
I just don't buy for you two.
No.
You come at the end with all the rounds of bought and all the drinks just sitting on the table. And you're like, I'll have some of that.
We could actually bring on everyone who still drinks with, and he'd be like, and still would be like, yeah, I don't buy a drink for you. Anyway, I've been Anton. He's been Snell. He's been Matt. This is West Ham United. Get subscribing, get liking, and hit the comments. Come on, your so join us tomorrow night for the match day live, and buy a mug.